something a little different today. Normally I don't talk a whole lot in videos, but since we're just taking a cruise down Turnagain Arm here, I'm on my way to Kenai to go dip netting. So I thought, well, since we're recording, we'll just talk a little bit about whatever. So some random stuff. But anyway, this is Turnagain Arm. This is the Cook Inlet off here to the right. Right time of the year, you can find beluga whales out here jumping around. It's really pretty. It's a beautiful drive down here. A lot of time there's construction on this road, but today, not so much. But like I said, we're on our way down to Kenai and Soldotna to go dip netting. We're actually going to be in Kasilof. Kenai is probably the more well-known place where people go dip netting for sockeye salmon or red salmon. The salmon there are a little bit bigger, and it's just a more popular place. But for me, I prefer going down to Kasilof. It's just a tiny bit further. The red salmon or the sockeyes that you get there are a little bit smaller in size. But the camping on the beach, there's not as many restrictions at this point. You can have campfires on the beach. You don't have to pay for parking. Whereas, like, if you go to Kenai, it's like, I can't remember, it's like $47 a day for parking, and then $30 a day for camping, for camping there. Where Kasilof at this point is free. There's no charge for anything there. Although parking is a little bit tight, not a great parking lot or anything, but most people just go right to the beach and camp on the beach. It's a great time. And you're allowed to take your ATVs, four-wheelers, UTVs, whatever you have, and drive up and down the beach, and there's just miles and miles and miles of beach to cruise up and down on your ATVs, which is super fun. So when you're not dip netting, you can cruise along. It's great. And it's not, either place is not very far from the towns of Kenai and Soldotna. And those are pretty nice little towns. They're small, but they still do have most of the amenities. There's a Walmart, there's a Home Depot, a Fred Meyer's. For those that don't know, Fred Meyer's is a Kroger, same store. There's a Safeway's, Sportsman's Warehouse, which is an outdoor store, a big chain. They have McDonald's, Taco Bell, I believe, Arby's, Dairy Queen.
There were once up there.
A few places. So I mean, the towns themselves has some stuff going on. So if you get tired of your fishing expeditions and your dip netting and stuff, there's a short drive, 10-15 minute drive. You're in the little towns and there's some stuff to do, which is nice. And then they're also about 80 miles from Homer, so if you want to go to the halibut capital of the world, so they claim, you can about 80 miles from there is Homer, and it's a great drive as well. Besides that, for people that don't know what dip netting is kind of what it sounds like. In Kenai and Kasilof, you dip net off the beach at the mouth of the rivers. So the Kenai River or the Kasilof River is right where the river runs into the ocean. And what you do is you stand there with a long pole with a great big net at the end of it. And the nets are either square or circular, and they measure 5 foot from longest point to longest point, or it's a 5-foot circle. And you just stand there, you put it out into the water, and you'll wait. It has a big gill net on it, big net on it, and you just wait until a fish goes into it, and then you just pull them up and then walk yourself to shore with the fish. And that's pretty much what dip netting is. So for this area, there's another place up here called the Copper River, or a lot of people refer to it as Chitna for locals. But the river's the Copper River, and you'll hear Copper River Reds, and you can dip net like that out of there as well. There, you're in a river, so the water is a little bit more dangerous. You use smaller nets. But the fish are, in my opinion, a better tasting fish because of they have to swim up the river, and because of that, the oxygen or whatever it may be gets into their blood, and they wind up being the flesh of the red salmon or sockeye has a lot darker red color compared to Kenai or Kasilof area. Or even if you go down to like Seward and snag them, which is one of the places you can actually snag fish legally, and you can snag them in the saltwater, red salmon there, and sometime early June, you can snag red salmon in there. But they're all good, but the ones in the Copper River are definitely a better tasting fish, and the flesh color is a lot darker red. But to get them out of the copper is a lot more difficult, and it is dangerous. Lots and lots of people do it. Lots of people say it's not too dangerous, but people do die there. The river is a big river. It's a strong river, and there's not any amenities out there. If you're out in the Chitna Copper River area, this is a nice little gas station on the way down to Seward and Homer and stuff. That's Girdwood, I believe. So there. So here we are passing these here spots. This is our drive here, though. This is a beautiful drive. So, but back to the dip netting. That's what dip netting is all about. You go down there to, there you just stand on the beach and you walk out there. Besides having your big long pole, which is probably anywhere from 12 to 16 feet. Some people go longer, some people shorter. And then you have your chest waders on, so you can go out into the water about, waist deep, chest deep. And then, the further you're out, the better chance of getting fish. That's it. And here's a sign. It's 87 miles to Seward and 183 miles to Homer, but we're going to Kenai, so it's not quite as far. It's about 100 miles from here. And by the way, today is July 14th? July 15th. July 15th today. That's right. And then I think we're coming up on 20 Mile River, 20 Mile Creek, whatever the name of it is. Early in the year, early June and May, late May, early June, hooligan are a pretty big thing, which you also dip net out of the water. But there you'll use a much smaller net, a really fine net with small holes, because hooligan are like a sardine or a herring. They're not very big fish. The biggest ones maybe get like 5-6 inches long. So yeah, but people also early in the year dip net those right out of here, right where we're driving. Up here, there's a certain few spots, and then up at 20 Mile River, there's a little pull off, and that they'll go up there and people dip net them out. And during that time of there when they're really in. You can get a full net full in just one scoop. Like to fill a whole 5-gallon bucket full of those fish, it takes you maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes when they're running really good. If that, sometimes you can get a full bucket full in 1 or 2 scoops. If you're into liking those little tiny fish, the hooligan fish, they're really oily, also known as a candle fish, because back in the day you could dry them out and then light them and they will actually burn like a candle. There's so much oil. All that there. A lot of people do what do they call it? Parasailing out here as well, out in this area. There's a lot of wind and stuff off this stretch of highway. I think it's parasailing is the right word. Where they have the big like parachute behind them and then the surfboard.